So Kellyanne Conway may be in a little bit of trouble. Earlier, it's been reported, this is from CNN, that the U.S. Office of Special Counsel is saying that White House aide Kellyanne Conway has violated the Hatch Act. Oops. Now, what is the Hatch Act? Well, basically, it says that you cannot, and if you being a federal employee, cannot use their official capacity to try to impact an election, to try to, oh, what's the word for it? Meddle in an election. I know, right? So now they have a couple of examples of this. Now, to prove their case, OC Special Counsel Harry Kerner pointed to a couple of Kellyanne Conway's TV appearances during the special election in Alabama, where there was somebody who was a pedophile, Roy Moore, or alleged pedophile, Roy Moore, running against a corporate Democrat, Doug Jones, whom we are already disappointed with. Disappointments for Jones aside, the choice is between milquetoast corporate Democrat and child molester. Alabama, look, the race was far, far too close for comfort. But Alabama said, well, you know, that guy, Roy Moore, nah, I think we'll go for the milquetoast corporate Democrat this time because that guy, we're not going to touch that. Anyway, I'm going to avoid making any more terrible jokes or offensive jokes. Okay. Anyway, so their evidence is contained in two different appearances that Kellyanne Conway had done. Now, one of them was on Fox and Friends. Now, I want to show you that, and this was on November 20th. Now, she was introduced by the show's hosts as a counselor to President Trump, and she spoke from the grounds of the White House. Let me show you that interview. Let me show you what she said.
Doug Jones in Alabama, folks, don't be fooled. He'll be a vote against tax cuts.
So vote Roy Moore?
I'm telling you that we want the votes in the Senate to get this tax bill through.
The RNC has withdrawn support for Roy Moore. Mitch McConnell's withdrawn support. So is the Young Republicans withdrawn support
and
for
a lot
Roy
of
Moore.
women.
Right, and you know what? I just want everybody to know Doug Jones. Nobody ever says his name, and they pretend that he's some kind of conservative Democrat in Alabama, and he's not.
You know what? I wish he was not a conservative Democrat. I actually wish he was a progressive, which he is clearly not. But anyway, just look at so far, the stuff that he's voted for. He's actually voting for deregulating the banks and gunning Dodd-Frank. Oh, what a wondrous progressive that you have there in Alabama. Again, all that stuff aside, here she is basically saying, oh, we need Roy Moore to go and get these tax cuts. So basically sending a message to people, hey, you should support Roy Moore if you like the tax cuts. You know what I'm saying? Now, the OSC says Ms. Conway's introduction of Doug Jones into the interview happened to be unprompted, unresponsive to the question asked by the Fox and Friends host, and surprising given that she knew the four identified interview topics did not include Doug Jones. Again, she says, Doug Jones, nobody talks about him. I'm going to put him in right here. Unprompted, as I said. So, look, this didn't include Doug Jones, Roy Moore, or the Alabama Special Intention. Now, the OSC says her intentional partisan jabs against Doug Jones were made in her official capacity and meant to persuade voters on the race. Now, they use another example, and this is a New Day interview on December 6th where she's talking with Chris Cuomo. Let's take a look at that.
Let me ask you about this spin out of the White House that the president needs somebody who agrees with him and that he will endorse Roy Moore because that matters more than the accusations.
Oh, come on, that spin. Excuse me, that spin. You're not here to give your opinion. Here are the facts. When the president endorsed Luther Strange shot up in the polls tremendously by double digits. When the president endorsed Roy Moore, when he started to talk about Doug Jones, the opponent here, which you still don't want to talk about, but the president does, Roy Moore took a lead in the polls again. Why is that? Because the president himself came out and said he doesn't want a liberal in the Senate. He doesn't want a liberal Democrat in the Senate. He wants a reliable vote for taxes, for life.
You'd rather have an accused child molester than a Democrat?
The president also said something else that you don't seem to ever want to reflect, which is the president said Roy Moore has denied those allegations, and the president said you have to take that into account too. The only endorsement that's mattered in Alabama is the president's, because he came forward for Luther Strange in the primary, and Strange shot up in the polls. He came forward, again, the president is against Doug Jones, does not want a liberal Democrat to represent Alabama, is leaving it to the Alabama voters, and has said that he wants Roy Moore in the United States Senate.
Hey, look, man, look, obviously the first one seems a little bit stronger of a way to influence voters, but that's Kellyanne Conway saying, hey, man, we need Roy Moore, because if you want to get anything done, I mean, the president, he doesn't want a liberal Democrat, so you better vote for Roy Moore and not Doug Jones. That would appear to be using her official capacity to push for a certain candidate, or to push against another certain candidate. Now, oh my God, so it seems fairly clear that, yes, she was using her official capacity. So is she going to be punished about this, or for this? Oh, you're going to be shocked to find out that no. The OSC referred Conway's violations to President Trump, and it's up to him whether or not Kellyanne Conway should be disciplined. Meaning that, nothing will ever happen. They're not going to punish Kellyanne Conway. You think Donald Trump is going to go after Kellyanne Conway? Again, one of the biggest supporters, somebody who is shameless enough to go out and lie and say anything the president wants, to make up alternative facts for the president. Do you think she's going to go out there, or you think she's going to get punished after going out there and shamelessly pushing for Roy Moore against Doug Jones? No, absolutely not. You're kidding. Look, we have no law and order in the White House anymore. No, see, the Trump administration, they flout the law, they flout ethics, they have all sorts of conflicts of interest. They won't even, like Donald Trump himself won't even divest from some of his business assets or interests. Come on, man. This entire administration is corrupt. They don't care about any of this. And you want to talk about the swamp? This is the swamp. They bathe in the swamp. And unfortunately, Kellyanne Conway is one of the biggest swamp monsters. Okay. Punish Kellyanne Conway. Come on. You think that's ever going to happen? Nobody's going to be held to account. Whatever. And if we get another corporate milquetoast Democrat, and this is something that frustrates me beyond frustration. If we get another president that's a corporate milquetoast Democrat, like Kamala Harris 2020, right? And no, that's not an endorsement. Guess what? They're going to look forward and not backward, just like President Obama. They're going to completely ignore all of this stuff. The flagrant ethical violations. No. We got to vote for progressives, for people who are going to actually be strong and actually hold politicians accountable when they break the law. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.